F125 has officially been revealed to the world, but amongst the anticipation, there's a lot of skepticism. Over the past few years, Codemasters have seemingly tumbled in terms of quality, which is also reflected in the sales or countless YouTube videos declaring the death of the series. So maybe for the upcoming F1 game, EA Sports and Codemasters need to look about, 30 years into the past.
Nico says give MicroProse the F1 license back and they create a masterpiece. Is MicroProse capable of doing that? No.
Grand Prix 2 recently made its way back into the sim racing mainstream. Jeff Kremen's masterpiece is one of the all-time classics, having revolutionized realistic racing games back in the 1990s. Building a game around the 1994 Formula 1 World Championship didn't just impress with its full license. Kremen and his team had a knack for delivering advanced physics that were way ahead of their time, as well as providing players with an immense sense of immersion. Fantastic sound design and graphics were the basis for well-built circuits with nifty details. Sure, it might not be as vibrant or immersive in the age of 4K ray tracing, but even after decades, the fan base of Grand Prix 2, their dedication, and its unmistakable racing action are undeniable. It's this fan base and dedicated modding community where x86 came to be. An individual named Hatcher decided to mod the game in such a way that, for the first time ever, you could natively run it on Windows 10. And as if that wasn't enough, the person behind this project decided to add quality of life updates, including widescreen support, a moving steering wheel on screen, wet weather, or improved handling. As you can tell, people have been enjoying it quite a lot. More so than games such as, F124. Directly comparing modern racing games with titles of yesteryear is a tricky task. Still, if we are to look at GP2's strengths, there might be a few pointers in here for the future of the EA Sports franchise. Let's take the F125 reveal trailer, for instance. We now know that the game is going to feature the return of Cody's Drive to Survive or reverse circuit layouts. The actual racing product in-game remains a mystery. Grand Prix 2, on the other hand, didn't have the luxury of marketing itself based on loads of pop culture fluff. It's simple to the bone. You pick a car and track, you go out, and you try your damnedest to get faster. You adjust your setup in a menu ridiculously detailed for 1996, analyze your telemetry in-game without any third-party software, manage traffic throughout the weekend only for the tension to build and build to the crescendo that is a full-length Grand Prix. AI drivers will squabble for positions, different teams will experiment with differing fuel strategies, competitors will crash out in front of you or retire with technical problems. Your tires will slowly but predictably wear out as you desperately hang on to your V10 beast without scraping the curbs or bottoming out your car. The handling's incredibly precise despite there not being any force feedback, with audio and visual cues providing enough information for players to push lap after lap. You are drawn into the drama and excitement of racing a Formula 1 machine with the very best in the world around Monza, Spa, Imola, Hockenheim, or Adelaide. This is where Codemasters F1 games have seemingly fallen apart. They struggle to provide the immersion, excitement, and most importantly, consistency of the Kremen games. Many fans will criticize the games for loads of glitches, an unsatisfying handling model, AI drivers behaving as though they didn't know how to race an F1 car, or stuffing the games with useless microtransaction festivities. To be fair, their job is immensely more complicated compared to what MicroProse would have encountered in 1996. Grand Prix games were far from being yearly releases, which would have allowed the team more time to polish the software. Codemasters can't really copy this aspect one-to-one unless Electronic Arts gives them the green light for such a paradigm shift, yet they can arguably take the old focus on board. F1 games are still single-player experiences at their core. These beauties didn't just sell because people were vying for esports glory. They provided a form of racing that many enjoy on television. Being able to live out your dream as a virtual Grand Prix racing driver isn't just a selling point of the past. It is still very much a selling point for Formula One racing games to this day. The cars, tracks, and rules might have changed, but the dreams and desires somewhat stay the same. Escaping into the bizarre little wonderful world of Formula One racing, even if just for a little bit. And this is where Grand Prix 2 excel. GP2 immerses you in its racing better than most simulators today even, including F1 24. So no, it's not just an EA or F1 problem. Sorry. EA themselves actually tried to make this specific aspect one of the core elements in marketing F1 24, being 1 in 20 drivers and such. They are very much aware of the importance of a single-player experience in Formula One racing games, trust me. Still, if Codemasters truly desires a shakeup for future entries to the series, contrasting the classic with the current generation of games might be a good starting point. DRS trains plague F1 24 in such a way that nothing you'd ever stumble across in-game resembles what you watch on television any given Sunday. This differs from Grand Prix 2, where drivers will weave behind other cars to position themselves for an ambitious overtake, defending their position against other AI competitors, or dive-bombing you without punting you off the circuit. A virtual fight between Rubens Barrichello and Michele Alboreto is closer to what motorsport looks like in real life than 20 cars cobbling around in a conga line. Did you catch that the gaps between cars are generally bigger as well? Dirty Air would make scenes like these unthinkable in the real world, yet they rarely show up in Grand Prix 2. All of these elements, in turn, heighten the immersion of the player base. Okay, some of these might be a little exaggerated, but I do feel that my point still stands. Better AI and more consistent handling would obviously have to come first in this scenario. Virtually living out your dream of being a Formula One racing driver is incredibly difficult when everybody around you drives as though they would fail any given Gran Turismo license test. Even with almost 3 decades on the clock, both of these elements have aged like fine wine in comparison. You can still race the AI in a hard but fair manner while managing your car with immense precision. x86 serves as the perfect bridge to modern hardware and allows younger generations to experience similar thrills and spills. Whether Codemasters will be afforded the chance to knuckle down and rekindle the spirit of such classics is a different story. 1994 reintroduced refueling into Grand Prix motorsport. This, remember, is how Max Verstappen's maleficent father found himself almost burning to a crisp at Hockenheim. Copying this style of all-out sprint racing for current games would therefore be impossible. Refueling hasn't been a part of the sport for about as long as Codemasters have been around in F1 gaming. It becomes a question of defining what makes current Formula One tick in terms of racing, strategy, and wheel-to-wheel behavior, compared to eras such as this, or annoying DRS train festivals such as this. That doesn't mean off-track features can't improve the experience for veterans and newcomers alike. Do you remember being able to change the names of teams and drivers in GP2? It allowed for loads more replayability even if you didn't come across any unofficial season updates. This is how our very own Yannick managed to run countless seasons with changing driver lineups, even if they all still looked like 1994. And if you think that such features would be off-limits due to modern licensing, take a slight glance over to F1 Manager 24 and its new preset options for custom grid lineups and calendars. Again, the idea is to improve the single-player experience, giving you a more authentic Grand Prix world to interact with. And all of that without having to become a third-tier IKEA simulator. I'm still waiting for the Blow Hype DLC, by the way. None of what I outlined is particularly groundbreaking, I know. It's not even as if Codemasters hasn't managed to do similar things throughout the past 15 years, but in the state that the F1 F1 games find themselves in, I believe it's better to point to the obvious and re-establish the core foundation. Good handling, a solid AI that is capable of racing you in any given situation, and a form of racing that with all of its details and polish resembles what people watch on television. Call me naive, but if it was possible about 30 years ago, it should be possible now. Small details make all the difference, with GP2 going above and beyond to convince you that the world you race in is truly alive, even if that just entails your pit crew cleaning your visor whenever you enter the pits, or track marshals waving flags or removing cars from the track, which is a mild safety hazard. So what's the point to all of this? Well, I feel Codemasters should ditch the fluff, go back to the roots, and focus on perfecting a realistic on-track experience first and foremost. Instead of promoting mode after mode nobody asked for, believable AI and consistent handling can go a long way in immersing people and making them feel like the superstars visible in promos and commercials. Little details surrounding the races in terms of visual design and features can add to the replayability and communicate some long-lost passion for the sport. All in all, single player should be priority number one. Grand Prix 2 didn't have a choice in 1996, a time before live service reigned supreme in the world of video games, yet its legacy as a fun Formula 1 game lives on to this day. It's oozing love for F1 racing in every car, every sentence written in the fantastic manual, every marshal risking his virtual life out on track, waving along. How else can you explain people spending hours of their free time making this gem run on Windows 10? Why else would people watch Grand Prix 2 AI races in their free time? It remains to be seen whether through a new release schedule or other means of organization or loads of fan complaints, Codemasters will be able to follow through with such a plan. Get back to the basics, build on the classics, and reclaim their throne at the top of the industry. I mean, MicroProse sure as hell won't.
Would I think it would be fun, MicroProse coming back and doing a sim? Yes. Would I say, oh, they can easily do a masterpiece if they get the F1 license? Hell no. Like, where would they get the engine from that can do all of this? Where would they get the physics from? Then they need someone that can actually work on these physics. And back then you could do games with like a team of 2 people. If that, I mean, Live for Speed was 3 people, right? But such a title, you can't.
If in fact Grand Prix never returns, we can all still hop into this lovely little time machine. A small tip for your travels, you can find loads of mods over at grandprix2.de to spice up your game just a little more. Who doesn't want to run a 2010 season with wider cars and refueling enabled? What do you think? Do you want to see F1 games refocus in the spirit of Grand Prix 2 or similar classics? Let us know in the comments below. Until then, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and of course, keep racing.